So this is section 3.7. I always want to be careful with these blue sections. I want to go into enough detail, but I don't want to weigh you down with detail. Generally speaking, the blue sections are kind of like a precursor. They're not necessary, but they'll help you in the future. And this one's future that it helps you in is like immediate. So I wanted to make sure I did a good job with this section to save us time later on down the road. So I need you to do a good job with this section too. Problem number 4 on page 123 says if 3 times the weight of a shot put is increased by 2 pounds, it will weigh 18 pounds. They want you to translate this into a equation. So instead of just translating it into an expression, now we're translating it into an equation. So I do it the same way though. The 3 has to be a 3. 3 times is usually times. The weight of a shot put. We don't know what the weight of a shot put is. I'm going to make that my x. Is increased by is plus 2 pounds. That's a 2. It will weigh is going to be my equals 18. Now I just squish it all together. I get 3x plus 2 is equal to 18. So now, in order to solve it, to find the answer, I can subtract 2 from both sides and get that 3x is equal to 16. Divide both sides by 3. And you get x is equal to 5 1/3, or 5.33, repeating, however you want to put it. You can leave it as 16/3 if you want. Either way is fine with me. Now, I don't know that your book wanted you to go ahead and solve these. In fact, I bet for this one it specifically said, do not solve, because they didn't want you to get that funky answer. So I'm going to tell you, I want you to solve, even if you get that funky answer, and I'll tell you why. I want you to get used to solving. I need you to practice solving equations every single day, because you have to be able to solve equations like a pro come time for the test. So the best way to do that is to practice it every day, all the steps. As much as you might hate it, solving equations constantly, all the time. Nothing ever changes. You gotta solve equations. So for problems 14 and 18, I just want you to set them up. We're gonna work on solving them once I know you can set them up. So read problems 14 and 18 on page 123, and let's see, after you read the problems, if you can set them up. Go ahead and pause it and try to set them up. Let's see how you do. Okay, so for number 14, it says, if 14 is added to 5 times a number, the result is 129. Find the number. So if 14 is added to 5 times a number, I'm going to use n because I always use that for number, generally speaking. The result is, that's my equal sign, 129. Then for number 18, it says, Christy paid $25 for a sweater. This was half off its regular price. What is the regular price? So those are the two equations that I have. Now, I'm not saying that you could not get it a different way. It's okay if you do. If you get the same x and you did it a different way, that's fine. As long as you have an equation to back it up, I'm kind of okay with it. But I need you to make sure that you get the same x that we get too. So over here when I go to solve, because that's the next step, you know we're going to subtract 14 from both sides. And that's going to leave me with 5n is equal to 115. Divide both sides by 5. N is equal to 23. Over here, so I don't have to hear your guff about having the x on the wrong side, first thing I'm going to do is flip it like a pancake and get my 1/2 x is equal to 25. Then I need to get rid of 1/2. I can multiply by 2 over 1, or I can just multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of my fraction. And that gives me x, because it's just 1x, is equal to $50. Because we were talking about money. And that's problem number 18. Now, remember I told you I wanted you to get lots of practice? But I don't necessarily want to stress this section. I want to wait till we get to it for real to stress it with a bunch of homework. So the lots of practice comes in all the classwork. So classwork for this section, page 123, practice exercises, numbers 3, 5, 7, 9, 13, 15, and 19. Yes, I know they're all odd problems. That's kind of weird for us for classwork. The reason they're all odd problems is because I wanted to show how I set it up and how I solved it, not just give you the answer. And for number 3, I really am going to go ahead and solve it. Like I said, that practice and solving equations, it's never going to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and solve number 3, set it up and solve it, as well as 5, 7, 9, 13, 15, and 19. In the classwork exercises, I need you to check them before you move on to the next section. And I'll see you when you get to the next section.